He's like unofficially official.
Yeah.
3 of our signings this week left on crutches, which is impressive.
It's just a fuck. All the doctors at A&E are like, for fuck's sake, we're signing a bunch of Crocs. We've got a bunch of Crocs. We're signing a bunch of Crocs.
I don't know what it is. It's curse.
But yeah, I thought he was really good. There was a couple of times he got close and stuff, or made breaks, and then the Wakefield were able to score off the back of it. Tinny Arona had a really good offload in the build up to one of the tries as well. Really good late offload down the middle, and Wigan's defence didn't really recover from that either. Yeah, then that just made it all way too hard for any sort of comeback anyway. But I don't think Wigan would have deserved a comeback. That the best team won by certainly. Wigan scored the 2 best tries of the game, but the best team won.
Wigan are always going to score good tries with that back line, aren't they? But, yeah, Wakefield just seem to always bring it together at the end of the season, don't they? Every season look like they're going to get relegated. They seem to scrape some big wins together at the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the key leadership individuals, I think, had good game. Miller was really good, I thought, off the back of good forward play from some of their experience forward. But I thought Miller was really... Crowther coming in and playing dummy half played really well. It's not his preferred position. He did really well. But I think it was an excellent team effort from Wakefield, rather than going through every one of their individuals, to be honest. If I wanted to talk about something that rankled the Wigan fans, something potentially controversial in the game, the Patrick Mago sin-bin in, but he hasn't been charged off the back of it. He was sin-bin for a crusher tackle, but the footage, what the match review panel says, the footage is inconclusive whether he actually applied any pressure to the neck, and I'd say that's a fair observation of that footage. It was one of those tackles where you sort of think, in any sort of case, the defender is a bit unfortunate that it's got into a awkward looking position. So Patrick Mago's come out of the line strong, one collision on Corey Hall, who's doing a little dummy half run to sort of exit set run, wins collision, starts pushing him back, and Hall kind of turns his back and kind of backs into it to try and brace against the contact, I suppose, or break the momentum in some way, or what have you. But another Wigan defenders then come in to try and complete the tackle and push him back further. So it's almost like the attacker's actions have put himself in the vulnerable position, but then I know it's up to the defending player to give space for the neck and that sort of thing. But I think he was sat up rather than Mago then going over the top and bending the neck. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we've
it's
seen
like
that
his neck didn't need the space because it wasn't squashed, if you know what I mean.
We've seen it a few times this year, haven't we, where the defender, like the attacker, almost looks to get that penalty, and I'm not saying it doesn't hurt, but I think putting themselves in that position, the benefit of the doubt sometimes needs to go to the defender rather than.
Yeah, well, he got the. I don't know, because it's dangerous, and it is like if it goes wrong, it really goes wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying don't call these. The whole incident did get the Wigan fans because the referee didn't call anything. Then Hall stayed down, and then it seemed to be because Hall stayed down, the referee had a chat to his sideline officials, and one of them seemed to call in that potential crusher there. So. But then Corey Hall got up, and after just bending his neck one way and then the other in the sort of the way that they do to show that the neck, he was totally fine then for the rest of the game, it seems like. And I hope he is fine, because I never like to see those sorts of tackles that can go wrong. But I don't think Mago did anything malicious in it either. I could understand the sin bin. It would have been better if the referee had called it himself straight away, I think, rather than waiting for Hall to be down and then to have a conversation and then to sort of decide to sin bin him, because I think people would have been less confused and angry about it. But at the same time, I can't say it was wrong, but I also can understand why they haven't come up with a ban, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think that's more of a Super League wider problem than just that one incident where there's no penalty until the player stays down.
Well, yeah, there was one later on where Willie Isa shot out the line because he's Willie Isa, but he actually got to the player. He absolutely lamped Jacob Miller, like one of the best hits you could see. Like we could hear it from the opposite sideline. That's how it was over near the building site, and we could hear it on our side, the thud of it. It was a great hit. It wasn't high, it wasn't bad. There was nothing up with it. It was well timed. It was around the sort of ribs and that sort of area. But Miller was clearly shooken up, and he stayed down a little bit and got some treatment. And the Wigan fans were like booing because they were like trying to get back. I actually thought on that one, I wouldn't have been fucking getting up. But then there was, I think, the one that Kalepi Tanganoa's got his grade C dangerous contacts charge, which is carrying a 3-match penalty notice for him. So probably good that it looks like they might have got the job done this week by beating Wigan and staying up potentially, because I think that was on Harry Smith. And the difference in this one, I know Wigan were chasing the game, so maybe that makes the players react to it differently, but you could hear a scream of anguish from Harry Smith when his ankle kind of got rolled up on over late in the tackle. And so I'm guessing it was on that one. Looking at the timing of the incident, it'd help if he still fucking told us who it was on, but looking at the time of the incident in the minutes, I think that's what the one it was. But screamed anguish, but jumped up then to try and play the ball, but he couldn't. The game on, they eventually strapped him up. But honourable mention really to Harry Smith for what a compare he is, because if you watch the last try, which is a breakaway intercept try, Harry Smith's the player chasing him down with a busted, strapped up ankle. He's the player closest to him chasing him down, which I think it shows what character Harry Smith's got. So I'm proud of the kid.
Yeah, you like to see stuff like that, don't you?
You definitely do. Mike Cooper got a grade A dangerous contact charge, 1-match penalty notice for him as well. That was, I think, a late hit very early in the game. That seems to have been missed as well. So I can't remember it. Let's put it that way.
Right.
Do you want to take us through the standings?
Yes, so St Helens now have a 6-point lead at the top, and they have re-established a point difference over Wigan too, meaning the league leaders' shield is almost theirs. They've confirmed a semi-final spot now. Wigan have 32 points ahead of Huddersfield on 29, and Catalans are 28. Castleford are on 24 points in 5th, with Leeds chasing them in 6th on 23 points, and Salford on 22 points in 7th. And Hull KR go ahead of Hull FC on points difference because we don't ship 60 points at home. We both have 20 points. Warrington improved to 16 and Wakefield improved to 14. Toulouse are now cut adrift on 10 points at the bottom, and it's not looking good for them.
No, and same questions to you that I've been asking everyone in recent weeks. And you've got a better picture to look at it. So first one is Saints have got the league leaders shield, right?
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, Wigan need to win all their games and hope Saints lose 3 of theirs. What are you thinking about that top 6? Obviously, it's something your team's involved in the chase for that. You're not out of it, 3 points behind 6th place, but you're not the best positioned either. Where do you think that... I think it's fair to say Huddersfield, although not mathematically confirmed in the playoffs, are basically in the playoffs. Catalans... You can say the same for them, can't you, really? I'm not expecting a 6-point swing to come about. Plus the points difference that those guys who've been a bit more consistent have over the rest of them. Castleford don't have a great points difference. Leeds and Salford have better points differences than them. And then I think it goes without saying Hull FC have a diabolical points difference, and yours isn't too great either. So where do you see those final 2 playoff places settling down between Cass, Leeds, Salford, and maybe your sides as well in Hull?
Well, I think we're all but mathematically out of it rather than chasing it. I think your top 4 are settled as they are. Maybe Huddersfield or Catalans jumping above each other. For 5th, I reckon Leeds are in good form, so they may jump Castleford at some point because they're like looking thin on the ground as well now with a couple of bans too. If Salford can jump over Cass as well, I don't know. They've got, like you say, a significant points difference, so it's possible. Castleford are in the best form, are they? Even though they did win, but
They're scratchy, aren't they? They're scratchy, but they're showing combativeness and competitiveness that I think they didn't have when they were less scratchy.
Yes. It's how many games can they keep winning without a spine, isn't it? Whereas Leeds and Salford are more or less full strength, aren't they?
Yeah, let's have a think. Who've they got out? I mean, Escaray, but he wouldn't be getting into the squad, let alone the side. He's probably third choice fullback now, isn't he? A couple of the forwards, aren't there? Burke was out this week, wasn't he? Danny Addy's missing.
But they're not missing significant, and they're top 5-10 players.
No, they're not.
Those are like fringe players.
The kind of players that probably would be in their first choice 17, but the drop off to the next player up isn't that big.
Yeah, it's not like losing a Brodie Croft or a Ken Seo or something like that. Yeah, Salford are in a good position with that. Leeds are looking nice under the new coach, aren't they? So they're on the resurgence.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Leeds and Salford make it and Cass drop out.
Fair enough. And then bottom lost down Toulouse. Are we settled on that now?
Yeah, I think what's left, 4 games. And
4 games. They've got one of those is at home. And then their away games. They've got Wigan next week.
Yeah, I think they've done. I think they've had in the last 2 weeks. I've been in a position to win and haven't won. So I don't think they've got. They may win 1 or 2 more games, but I don't think they'll keep up.
Nope. I kind of tend to agree with you on Toulouse there. Yep. Daniel Alvaro gets my stat line of the week. 51 tackles, 13 of which were marker, and no missed tackles, plus over 100 metres. I think in the conditions that we played in this weekend, to go over 50 tackles and to sustain that with lots of those being double efforts and being marker tackles, I just think it's phenomenal. So in a losing effort, I think he deserves a big call out. Player of the week, I was struggling to think of one because Wakefield's was a team performance, it felt like, for me. And from the other television games that I watched, I'm trying to think of like one man that stood out above everyone else. I'd maybe go
Dufty, possibly.
Either Dufty or Brad Dwyer, yeah. They'd be the ones I'd be thinking of if I'm thinking back to like individual players and individual moments, yeah.
We'll say Dufty then because it's not against KR.
I went 3 out of 6 in the predictions last week, and so did Alan. And I think that involved different picks as well. That's where it went. In the host Super Rude, David's at the top of the yellow cap. I'm second. Alan's third. Sarah is fourth. In the main Super Rude, Dave Welling stays top. Second week in a row for him. Simon Lees has the yellow cap, so Cass fans being happy there. In the Fantasy League, Neil Ormston stays at the top, and he extends his lead with a league best weekly score of 778. After I sort of tried to think about not giving up by making some transfers this week and then transferring in someone that ultimately got banned, I think I've given up. Thanks everyone for their fan views. That took a little bit longer than normal because we took that detour into Tom's recap of the whole KR season, but I think it's definitely worthwhile. If we're getting him on, that's what we want to hear about. But that is the main part of the show now done and dusted. We're going to move into other results. Okie dokes. Other results then. Tom, do you want to take us through what happened in the Women's Super League?
Yep, so in Group 1, it was York Fetch 3, Wigan 10, and the Huddersfield and St Helens game was postponed at Huddersfield's request. In Super League Group 2, Feverson 50, Bradford 0, Castleford 14, Lee Miners Rangers 8, and Warrington 72, Barrow 6.
Yeah, a couple of significant ones there. Cass getting their first win of the season, and then Warrington hammering second place. I think Group 2 is where it was more of interest. What I would like to say is credited performance for Wigan there, I think, at York. That's the most competitive we've been against one of the big three this season so far. York were playing a bunch of Catalans players they brought in. So we're giving the French ladies side a leg up at leading into the World Cup, aren't we? Because Wigan had a try scorer as well from the French squad.